How much did the US government award to small businesses last fiscal year? Gonna give you a few seconds. It's definitely gonna be in the billions of dollars, but what's the number exactly? So let's find out exactly how much and more importantly, how you can use this data to grow your federal contracting business. USAspending.gov is the official source for tracking how the federal government spends its money. It's very powerful because it gives you access to real contract data. Who got awarded what, how much, for what, and of course, with which agency. If you're serious about government contracting, then this is where your research starts. So to find that total amount that was spent on small businesses, let's go ahead and click on Start Searching Awards. And then underneath time period, let's click on this fiscal year's. We'll just do last year, but for a more granular search or to get more information, we'll probably need to include additional fiscal years. And then we'll scroll down here to recipient type and let's select small business. And then let's simply hit submit. So we're going to get a lot of information, though these are just two small filters that we did. We can see if we scroll down here to the results over time, we'll give it some time to gather data. We'll flip this to by year and we only selected one, but we see that in the last fiscal year, or our answer, it's $188.7 billion. So that's just to small businesses, just like yourself and my business as well. I mean, how can we use this data is the next question that should be popping up in your head, but just wanted to pause just a brief moment to fathom how much money that is. I mean, and the recent valuation of all the NFL teams, all of them, they were valued at $189 billion. So, I mean, you could almost buy every NFL team if they were up for bid at the current evaluation price for them. I mean, that's very astounding. But if we scroll up here just a bit, we see that the awarding agencies, the Department of Defense is number one, just shy of 100 billion, followed by the Department of Veteran Affairs, and then of course DHHS, and then USDA. Now there's almost a eightfold drop from the Department of Defense, what was awarded there to small businesses, to of course the VA. But if we come here and change this and sort by awarding sub-agency, we're going to find that what are those top sub-agencies within DoD? And we see our three of our branches of services here, starting with the Department of Army up top, Department of Navy, and then at fourth, the USAF, or the Department of the Air Force. So big business there, funding, supporting the military branches of services there. DLA is right here in the middle. And of course, then we get to the Veteran Affairs. That was the second agency overall. So we're starting to formulate and shape some data, some ideas here. And this really brings up a bigger question that we should always start with is, are we targeting the right audience? This is why we shouldn't ever blindly just go after active solicitations. I mean, it all starts here, pre-gaming, pre-planning, in the pre-solicitation phase. And if you don't have this strategy within your capture strategy approach, then I mean, you're missing out. You're basically throwing darts in the wind. Now up here, if we don't really need to because we got the tabs, but to get rid of those, we could have come down here and we could have said the award type is just contracts. And then if we hit submit, basically for the rest of those tabs, same data, same information that will be generated, but it'll zero these out and just focus on the amounts for contracts. It's already sorting in descending order by the obligations. And we see that Eastern Shipbuilding is the top dog there. These are definitive contracts. We see their UEI. We wanted to write that down and look for points of contacts in sam.gov. It's probably their corporate address. And then we see over here the awarding agency, that's DHS for that, U.S. Coast Guard, which we didn't see up top in the sub agency. We saw the other three branches of services. The period of performance is very long. This is almost 14 years almost here. And so it's going strong. That's most likely why it's so high. And we come down here. This is when you're thinking about forming those team and arrangements, and you need to reverse engineer your plan, your capture strategy, your approach. This is where you get it. Now, this company here, we can take a guess by the name that this was most likely with the DHHS, perhaps, or CMS. Yes, there we go. Dealing with medical. This was a 6-year contract there, so it's almost up for renewal. These are things that you want to capture here. Forecasting what contracts are maybe coming to an end. Do we think they're going to be renewed, or could we maybe reach out to the prime and try to start again those joint ventures or sub contracting? Just depending, especially if this is off topic, but if we saw that up top here, it was an organization that got a set aside for an 8A award or something like that, and it's their last year in, then definitely they've already got the performance, they've got the relationships built. But if it's a set aside, they're no longer going to be able to be, not to say competitive, but compete for that. So much that we can glean here off of these columns and the data that's presented. And this is where the mind kind of starts, or it should start, the gears grinding there. At least mine's are. And this is if we were trying to build a list of the top 5 to 10 to target. We could see their Ventex solution. Oddly enough, I actually used to work for them a few years ago. And shameless plug, you can see here, actually was the employee of the year for them. So what a small world we live in there. So now let's say you wanted to go one level deeper and figure out who's actually winning the most small business contracts. Let's say from a specific agency. We saw DOD up top, but sub-agency. Let's go ahead and take the Department of Veteran Affairs, which we saw there. So let's go ahead and make this smaller. We'll scroll up here. We'll basically collapse each of these so we can see. We see the agency here, and we see the funding agency. So if we type BET, Department of Veteran Affairs, here, we see a sub-agency, Department of Veteran Affairs as well. But let's just go ahead and select that. And then we will say obligations there. So we still have contracts filtered there. So these again will be for the Department of Veteran Affairs. Of course, the sub-agency we know is going to be most likely the VA. We see these are the top heavy hitters for contracts won in the last fiscal year. And similarly to what we just said about just small business, our brain should be thinking just the same, looking at dates of these awards, the duration or the interval. We already know that the sub-agency is going to be the same. Again, this one, January, has already passed. We get some NAICS codes as well and the PSCs, so we can start building a strategy or a roadmap, which is going to be the most important thing, or one of the most important things, because it keeps us guided, grounded in our compass, aiming in the true north direction instead of veering off course. But if we just take this organization, we can just click on theirs instead of the award for that single one, and we start gleaning information from the same site. We don't need to go anywhere else, though we will in our tool set leverage other publicly available sites and services. We see they're out of Bethesda, Maryland, right up the road from me. We see their journey started way back here. Ooh, right off the bat, $1 billion. And across the years, still just a lot of transactions that have been done there. So DOD, the VA number 3 for them. So that means that they actually win, they compete and they win, not within one lane, but across multiple agencies, Department of Treasury, DHS. So one of the things that we're going to get in another video is the set asides, and also like what vehicles are some of these organizations using to win? Is it competitive, or is it, like we said, those set asides that eliminate a lot of open competition to basically whittle down the amount of competition that they'll have? This is a negative obligation. This might be in this year still numbers that are catching up perhaps. But like we said, you can take down some of this information, begin to formulate your strategy. And this is one of the top ways to gain a competitive advantage, and not just I'm guessing in the win, but I mean, the data will back up the rationale or the why you're looking or doing, if you need it to justify a position, if you're in an organization or if you're a sales consultant. Regardless of it, like we said, the facts will back up the approach that you're taking with this. So if you're not using free data, like we see here from USAspending.gov, to inform your capture strategy, then you're definitely missing out. Let me know down in the comments what agency, what NAICS code or PSC code you want us to deep dive to in the future video. We'll do just that, but be sure to subscribe and turn on those alerts to check out all the videos that are coming your way. We're going to do some upcoming videos on proposal writing, and we may have a 3-day challenge upcoming. Find out more in the links down below. Thank you so much for rocking in here with us today. If you made it this far in the video, a big shout out to you. But until next time, stay safe, take care of yourselves, and peace.